everybody. Welcome back to class. Okay, you know what to do. 3 times, breathe with me. We do a warm-up. Breathing. Pull in positive energy. Breathe out negative energy. Ready? Good. Have to always start with a warm-up of some kind. You have to do something that helps you calm down, focus, let go of all of the things that stay in your head. Take that away and try to focus. So today I'm going to take a look at an exercise that one of my first acting teachers, Uta Hagen, gave to the students. It's called the 3 entrances exercise. Is very helpful for getting your character really grounded and making you feel as an actor a way to find your focus and warm up before you make any entrance onto stage. Uta Hagen was a really prolific acting teacher. If you look, you can find she has written several books. One of them is called Respect for Acting. I strongly recommend that book. It's very good. If you haven't read it, it's really a foundational acting book. And many actors that you'll come in contact with will already know that book. So I will have a link in the description below if you don't want to have to go searching for that book yourself. Okay? I'm going to stop signing and try to depend on the captions now. Okay? All right. In this book, Uta Hagen runs through a series of exercises to help really ground actors in their role. And basically, it shows you how to define very specifically what your character's doing before they come onto the stage. Actors often have that nervous energy before they make an entrance, and they're thinking about their lines, and they're thinking about what they're going to do, and that's the wrong approach. No. You got to calm down and focus and only think of the story that you're telling right now and the character you're playing right now. You have to let go of all of the stuff that you did during rehearsals, okay? Because if you're thinking of all that stuff before you come on stage, that's the wrong approach to take whenever you're giving expression to a character, whenever you're walking on stage. Because when you walk on stage, you're entering, you are making your first impression with the audience. Most people don't live on stage, so you don't walk the way a normal person does or the way you naturally do. You walk the way the character does. You need to have a reason for entering, a direction, a motivation. If you don't, you're really just doing a stage direction, and you're going to go right into your first line without any sort of clear objective. So let me ask you to answer 3 questions about any entrance, okay? Number 1, where did I come from? And what was I doing there? Number 2, what am I doing right now as I enter the room? And number 3, what's the first objective that I need to accomplish when I go in there? Why am I even going into the room? If you just have those 3 questions answered, it'll change your approach to any entrance, and it will give you a specific structure for your character to express themselves in. Okay, so that's all very nice in words, but let's say you have a scene. You're entering a kitchen, okay? Let's answer those 3 questions. Just thinking it through. We don't really have to do it just yet. Just think it through, okay? Number 1, where have they been? Maybe it's morning, you just got up. they didn't get a good night's sleep. They're really, really, really tired, and they are late for work. Okay, that's what happened off stage. The audience didn't see that. That's what happened just before you entered. Number 2, as you enter, you're in a hurry, you're late for work, you're tired, so you're not really paying attention. So as you come through the door, things happen. You stub your toe, you're rushing, you open the refrigerator door, but you don't remember to close it, or you can't find the thing you were looking for, or you make coffee and you put your coffee cup back in the refrigerator because you're distracted and you're rushing. 3. So that's 2. 1 is before. 2 is as you enter. 3rd is what's your goal? When you get into the scene, what's the point? So number 3, in this kitchen, they are going straight for the coffee because they got to wake themselves up, and that's just their fuel for the day. They got to do it. All right, so what does that look like? The first part, you won't see. Second part, well, maybe, no. Let me show it to you because you gotta be able to see how to do it, right? Okay, so number 1, I'm off stage, okay? Okay, here's my cue. I need to enter. Jeez. Coffee. Okay. Oh, good. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You start the scene. So all of that action happened before you even said your first word. Now let's change that all around. Let's say number 1, the character's been up since 7 in the morning. They had a good night's sleep. They just came from the bathroom where they brushed their teeth. And as they enter the kitchen, they're still tasting the toothpaste and the roof of their mouth, kind of enjoying the mint flavor. And their first objective when they enter is to find the newspaper. So same location, same character, different intention. This is called an intention. And those 3 questions are going to give you motivation and a direction before you even say your line, okay? So, number 1, had a good night's sleep. Just finished brushing my teeth. Enter the room. Morning. Oh, wonderful. Then you say your first line. Ooh, very different. That would give a whole different energy to the same scene, the same lines, the same character. But you as an actor are in control of that. You as an actor get to build the muscles onto this skeleton of blocking and lines that you're handed. You're given things that you have to make work. You really can't just say, oh, my character wouldn't do that. You really want to take a chance and take the time to figure out how. How would my character do that? We contain multitudes, famous quote actually, but inside all of us, we contain all of that, anything. The nicest person in the world could be a murderer in the right circumstance, with the right motivation, with the right energy, sadly. So if you're going to be asked to play that, then you need to find that place where the good person tips over and is able to, in their same persona, behave in a way that you think is different or in conflict. All right. Hopefully, most of the time, the directors you get are going to agree with you on your character, and you're not going to have that difficulty of having to say, I don't see it. I don't see how the character's going to do that. Your job is to make it happen. That's the craft of it. The art of it is when you express it so beautifully that people are touched and moved and react and applaud. So you want both the craft and the art of it. Okay, so here's another one. What we did before. My character just got home from a terrible, long, laborious day at work. Very stressed. Very glad to be home. As they go through the door, they're still thinking about a client that they had to make a difficult phone call to, and their first objective when they come into that room is to sit down. Okay? All right, so off stage. Hard day at work. Okay. Oh, God. Okay. Oh, I'm home. Whew. Finally, I'm home. Okay. As I enter the stage, first objective. First line. So you see those three things? Same scene. I'm still walking into a kitchen. I'm still that character. But the situation that I've created for myself is going to color my lines. It's going to color the way I speak. It's going to color the way I gesture and how I react to everyone else's lines too. So what you create for yourself, those three things, is going to give your character an intention for the whole scene. Each of those entrances has a different energy, a different intensity. Now, obviously, you want to choose the answer to these questions. And you want to create an answer, the kind of answer, that would fit the direction of the show. And if you have lines, you're going to want to be able to deliver those the way you intend to. Your character goes off stage and in one scene, at the end of one scene, and comes on in the next scene. What did they do between when they exited and when they entered? The audience will never see that, but you get to decide that. You get to decide this whole play in your head of what happens off stage. Somebody had once said to me, as a chorus person, all right, you have to have a whole life going on. And if the situation were right and the camera turned, this musical would be about you as a chorus person, as somebody in the background, somebody who has no lines. So for you, this show is just a snippet of this much more interesting life, and a life that is as interesting as the lead character's life. It's just not being focused on right now. But that's up to you to make it that interesting. If you stand in the background, you'll become part of the set, which some directors like too, But as an actor, as somebody developing their craft and their art, you want to always be alive on stage. You always want to be a person, a presence that the audience is going to be attracted to. You don't want to upstage. You want to be aware of the story and give focus to where the audience needs to look in order to get the story. But at the same time, you don't want to blend into the scenery. You want to be as alive as any lead in any show. Okay? So what you want to do with your character is, again, you want, what were they thinking you were doing on their way in? What was their reason for going into the room? If when going in, you're going to be ready to say something to somebody suddenly, that's great. But if you don't have a line for a while, you still need to go in with an intention that no one else is going to be in the room, and then there's suddenly another character there. And that's something totally different than you expected. So play around with answering those 3 questions. And you'll find that your entrances will become more meaningful, more expressive, and that you can easily change the mood of your performance by changing the answers to those questions. And again, those 3 questions are, number 1, off stage. Number 1, where did I come from? What was I doing there? Number 2, what am I doing right now as I enter the room? Number 3, what's the goal of being in this room? What do I want to accomplish when I go into this space? You might get interrupted by the other character. You may never finish your goal because you have a scene, people are talking to you, you get distracted. But those are the 3 questions, okay? That's something for you to think about. And soon we're going to be hitting scripts and text. And then you'll have something a little bit more meaty to work with. Right now it's a little difficult because I'm asking you to work kind of without a context. And for an actor, context is everything. That's why you're building this context yourself. You also want to know, in general, how is a script built? How do you fit into this storyline? So say it's a 2-hour play, but you only have 3 lines, but they're very important lines. They wouldn't be there if the writer didn't think that they added to the plot or to the story. So you need to figure out, why are they important? And be sure that you give even those 3 lines full art. You use your craft in order to express an artistic skill that you're working on developing right now. So I hope to see you next time. Love your face and enjoy acting. Keep playing with it, improvising, practicing, observing other people. Big thing, because you'll just collect a whole lot of different interesting characters in your mind that you can pull out later to play with. Maybe you have a frustrating family member. Maybe you have somebody you work with that you just can't stand. Ooh, don't just ignore them or get annoyed with them. Take a moment to really watch them. How do they annoy you? How do they bother you? You can use that in another character. There is nothing in this world that you can't use to continue to build your art. So I hope to see you next time. Think about that and keep checking out my courses. If you have any questions, you know how to reach me, lrdnpa@rit.edu. See you next time.